Welcome to the Ordinary Doula Podcast with Angie Rozier, hosted by Birth Learning, where we help prepare folks for labor and birth with expertise coming from 20 years of experience in a busy doula practice, helping thousands of people prepare for labor, providing essential knowledge and tools for positive and empowering birth experiences.
Hello and welcome to the Ordinary Doula Podcast. My name is Angie Rozier and I am your host. We are sponsored by Birth Learning. So today I want to talk about something that is important to me. Well, I guess all of this is important to me, but something that has caught my attention over a period of years. And even before I kind of knew what it was and was able to articulate it, it's always just caught my attention. And I hope I can catch your attention with it. And hopefully it will help you to prepare yourself for some things we don't always give a lot of preparation, a lot of forethought to. And this is a growing piece of work in the doula world in postpartum care. And that's what I want to focus on, is that postpartum period. So we do a lot of preparation for that 1 day or 2 days or however long it's going to be that we're in labor and giving birth. And then we have all these days afterwards that we are recovering and focusing on breastfeeding. So this is the piece. I have a little, I train doulas, and I've trained doulas for almost 10 years. And I love to tell the groups of doulas, I'm like, if you guys want to build a niche for yourself, because a lot of doulas will branch out into postpartum work as well. And there's a little area that I can see where care is lacking in our systems. That area is the immediate postpartum period. So generally, I'm going to talk about your average hospital delivery here. People have a baby for however long labor is. They stay in the hospital for 1 or 2 nights. So generally, it's about 24 hours now. Used to be 48 hours after delivery, but pre-pandemic. But after the pandemic, we kind of have cut that down. And that has drawbacks and perks to it. So people are going home quicker. So they don't have access to support, but they might also be more comfortable going home. A lot of people are really excited to get out of the hospital. They want to get home in their own environment where they can kind of cozy down and be comfortable. But also sometimes you go home to work, and whether it's with other kids or, just the stuff of running a household and being a human, that's there. Whereas at the hospital, there's no laundry, there's no dishes, there's no cooking. They bring your meals to you. You can push a little button and ask a question of an expert whenever you'd like to. Some of the drawbacks are they come in and check you often. They come in and do tests. Seems like a lot of interruptions, may not be restful, might not be a comfortable bed. You might not like the food. A lot of your own personal creature comforts might not be there. So there's drawbacks to being there. There's drawbacks to not being there. So that immediate postpartum period might be different for you. Maybe you're giving birth at a birth center and you're not going to be 24 hours. You're going to be like 6 hours or 4 hours before you go home. Or maybe you're giving birth at home and your team, the baby's born and the team leaves within a few hours after delivery. All those are common, normal situations for delivery. So when I was a much younger doula and I was doing, I remember the particular birth I was at. It was a home birth and it was awesome. It was so cool. It was this couple's first baby. And I remember their house. It was this cute little gray house with a fence around it. I remember leaving and my hand was on the fence, on the gate as I was pulling it shut. I was one of the last to leave. I helped the midwife pack up her car and the assistant and everything. I was one of the last people to leave. And I just didn't feel great about leaving. I'd been there for, not a crazy amount of time, but I'd been there for several hours before the delivery, a few hours after the delivery, and it was time to go home. But that couple inside, they're being left alone. And my doula heart was like, oh, they don't know. They might not know everything to expect in this immediate postpartum time, my heart was not ready to leave them. They might not know everything about breastfeeding or recovery, and they might be tired, and they might be nervous, and they might be hungry, and I wanted to stay. And little did I know, I think this was before I ever did any postpartum work. So this was I've been doing postpartum work for 15 years, so this is quite a long time ago. I wanted to postpartum doula them, but I didn't know it at the time. Sometimes I would leave home births where there was, I remember another particular home birth around the same time. I think it was the couple's 6th baby or something. So they knew what to do with a new baby. They knew what recovery was going to be like. They had an idea about breastfeeding. They had some systems in place. This wasn't their first rodeo, but I also wasn't ready to leave them because they might be tired. They might need some help. They might want someone to help with their kids. That poor, as a dad in this case, he's got a lot going on. Like, he's got a new postpartum, mom to worry about, a brand new baby, and however many other kids who are going to be hungry every few hours and need some care there. So that's the part I want you to think about. If you're having your baby in a hospital, you're going home about 24 or 48 hours later. What's at home? What's waiting at home for you? If you're out of home, out of hospital doing a home birth or birth center birth, what's waiting for you after your team leaves? So prepare yourself for that immediate postpartum period. So what I would tell all my new doulas as I train them, the niche they could look for is this little gap in care. And that is that immediate postpartum. And that could be, it's different for everyone, the first day at home, the first 2 days at home. In our practice, we refer to it as the fresh 48. So your first 48 hours home or your first 48 hours after delivery, recovery is legit. Like, it needs to happen. And the better it happens, the better it will go. The better you address it, the more care that's given. And that's like physical, emotional, mental, medical, all the care, the holistic package of caring for this person who just had a baby and caring for her caregiver who might be having their own experience or are tired or are hungry or don't know what to do or know exactly what to do, but some support is going to go a long way. So I felt this professionally for a long time, and then we had a baby at home. Our 4th baby was born at home. We'd had 3 babies in hospitals, and then we had a baby at home, and it was awesome. We carefully chose a midwife. I have so many awesome choices to choose from, so it was a hard choice, but chose a midwife that we loved and trusted. She gave great care to us. We had a good team, and then everyone was gone. Of course, this baby was born in the middle of the night, and our kids, they were a little older at the time. They were kind of self-sufficient, but they still wanted to eat. And they, my husband had been up all night, and I remember waddling myself to the bathroom right there off our bedroom and peeing for a few, just several hours after this baby had been born. And I had been in hospitals before and had nursing care at hospitals, which was also wonderful. I had great postpartum care in hospitals. And I remember just wishing, I have a particular friend who's so awesome, and she is a longtime postpartum doula. And I remember thinking, gosh, I wish she was standing here next to me in my master bathroom off my bedroom that I just waddled into. I'm wearing a big diaper. I'm pretty soggy, kind of floppy, kind of tired. I just wish she was here just to hold my hand, just to pee with me, be with me while I pee. And so I felt it then personally, how important that postpartum time is, that immediate postpartum time. Several years later, we had another baby at home, and I knew this time. Oh, let me rewind. That baby at home, my husband loved it, which he was skeptical in the beginning, and we did a lot of research and learning and exploring. And in the end, he said, this is the way to go. I love this. But after was a little bit, we hadn't anticipated the reality of the after. And it was a fine situation, like nothing, we didn't have anything wild happening. It was just the reality of a normal situation. So there are situations that do have a little wildness to them and some other extra factors for sure. So that next baby, several years later, that was born at home, we said, okay, we're planning differently this time. We are going to treat ourselves to a postpartum doula. We're going to get someone to come in afterwards to take care of that missing piece, that gap in care. and we picked somebody who knew our family well, somebody who knew the rhythms of our home. This could, for you, be a family member. It could be a neighbor. It could be a friend. But consider carefully who it is. As I have been a postpartum doula for many, many, many people over many years, I've realized sometimes family's not the best option. Sometimes it is. But having a third party that's not related to you, you're not going to see them on Thanksgiving. They're not going to be feeding you all their opinions of what you should do. You don't have to live up to their expectations, but you're paying them to do what you want to do. And they might have some pretty cool ideas, things you hadn't thought of, that your mom or your grandma or your aunt or your sister might not know because they're not in the industry. So we had someone come over who made breakfast for our kids. Again, this baby came in the middle of the night. No surprise there. That's when babies like to come. So we were up all night. We were tired. I waddled to the bathroom this time with my friend, who was my postpartum doula. She made my kids a delicious breakfast they still talk about to this day. She did the home birth laundry that you're inevitably going to have. She brought food to me. She let us take a nap. All these things were incredibly valuable on that in that fresh 48 hours. So please consider when you go home or when your team leaves you, who is going to take care of you, who's going to take care of your partner, if you have other kids or dogs, or your situation may be unique. You may have extra needs. Please consider that and look at postpartum doula care or arrange it with friends and family. You can look at a meal train. You can look at folks to come in and do actual help. A lot of times people like to come and visit after a baby's born. Have some things for them to do. Some people are like, hey, can I do anything for you? What do you need? Like, tell them what you need. You know what? I would really love somebody to fold that load of baby laundry. I really want somebody to sweep my floor. I'd really just love somebody to talk to. I did a postpartum job a couple weeks ago, and awesome couple, beautiful delivery. Everything went fine. And then we have the postpartum period, and everything was normal. It was fine. They had some great family members who they loved come in from out of town. They were helping with the 5-year-old, but they still wanted me to come. They got some postpartum hours and they wanted to use them in that first week. So I went over, and it was very apparent. They told me so too. Like, she just wants to sit with somebody and talk. And so that was what we did. At first, we just sat on her bed. She was in her squishy diaper and her blobby belly after right in that immediate postpartum, big old t-shirt, being comfortable, breastfeeding, probably leaking milk. And we just sat on her bed and talked. And that was valuable to her while her family members were taking care of the 5-year-old and took the dog for a walk. And she settled herself, and she was like, I'm not ready to be alone. They keep thinking I need to be alone and like want to leave me alone in my room, and I don't want to be alone. So everybody has different needs. Some people do want to be alone, others do not. So assess your needs and your inner circle. Consider your inner circle. Who's on your roster of people you can call upon? Maybe you do get professional doula support. I recommend to everyone that little gap in care, and I recommend to my new doulas, and like, if you want a cute little niche in the birth world, provide fresh 48, provide 8 hours of care in that first week when people are home, and they can use it in whatever ways are going to be helpful to the person. Extremely, extremely valuable. Because either we have people who have a lot to come home to, if it's their second, third, or fourth kid. We have people coming home that have no idea what they're doing, need a little bit of guidance and reassurance. Like, sometimes just that reassurance when somebody is there that you can ask questions to, somebody who's happy, somebody who's positive, somebody who's not tired, somebody who can make you some toast. Like, it's these little things that are incredibly valuable. So please prepare yourself for that immediate postpartum period. And you know what? It'll get better every day. Things get better, but make those first few days as seamless and smooth as possible so recovery can truly be recovery, both emotionally, medically, mentally, physically, in all the ways that we recover from childbirth. A lot of that I find when I do fresh 48 or postpartum care in that first week, whether it's a night, sometimes I'll do a night with somebody, or I'll do a day or part of a day, is processing. They may be processing their birth. So I'm always ready to say, hey, tell me about, if they want to, right? Just explore, like, tell me about your delivery. Sometimes I was their birth doula and I know all about their delivery, but for those I don't, a lot of times we'll just process that. I remember before the pandemic began, we had a mom who had 3 boys, and then she had twins, and it was a girl and a boy, and she had a lovely delivery. It was vaginal. She didn't have a doula, but she got this awesome vaginal twin delivery. And I was there the first night they came home from the hospital, and we provided care for them for quite a while and got to know those cute little babies, and some grow and change. And this mom just sat and talked, for a good 2 or 3 hours about her birth experience on my first night there. That was what she needed. That was what was important to her. A lot of times the focus there is breastfeeding. So maybe you have the breastfeeding support built into your Fresh 48 or the care you're going to get in that first week, whether that's a lactation consultant coming over, getting some peer support, maybe your postpartum doula or your friends, your family, maybe your inner circle is going to be appropriately supportive about that. But give all these things some attention. Who's feeding you? What are they feeding you? How are you resting? It's crazy. I tell my couples, it takes, strangely enough, it takes 23 hours a day to take care of a newborn. I don't know why, but it just does. Taking a shower in a day is a monumental task of Herculean success if you're able to take a shower in that first several days. If you haven't had a baby, you'll soon soon understand what I'm talking about. But everything gets better, right? People get into their rhythm. They get used to the new normal, whether that's baby 3, baby 1, twins, whatever that is. People adapt. People are adaptable and they're resilient, but please give some appropriate care, time, thought, and attention, and be gentle to yourself, to your partner, to your relationships, to your body, to your emotions as you are coming off of that birth experience and recovering from a pretty incredible experience of giving birth, however you did it, because it's something to recover from, and for sure. And that's not, it can be a very positive time too, for sure. So make sure you have the support that you need. Prepare yourself. That's what I wanted to wrap up today and talk about, give a little consideration to those first few days. They'll be hopefully very important for you in your journey as you prepare not only for labor and birth, but for postpartum. Postpartum is actually a much longer period than is any of our stages of labor. It lasts for a long time. So prepare well for it. Thank you so much for being with us today on the Ordinary Doula Podcast. Again, this is Angie Rozier. We are hosted by Birth Learning. Check us out at birthlearning.com. We have childbirth classes that you can get, watch at your leisure, help you prepare specifically for your birth. We have a breastfeeding course. You can call in and do a consult with any of us as well. We would love to know your situation and be specifically able to help you with our years of experience so that you can have a better prepared, more positive birth experience, because that's what birth should be. It isn't always, but we hope that it's going to be positive and empowering for you. Thanks for being with us today. We will see you next time. Hopefully you reach out to find some joy in your world today. There's plenty of it out there to be had. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for listening to the Ordinary Doula Podcast with Angie Rozier, hosted by Birth Learning. Episode credits will be in the show notes. Tune in next time as we continue to explore the many aspects of giving birth.